All right. We are live and going. We are going to do our episode, which we said we were going to do after last episode, which is we're going to talk about our experience at Emerald City Comicon this year. But we tagged on another thing because we've been going through some of the Disney Channel original movies. So we'll also talk about those a little bit. Emerald City Comicon, if you don't know, is the Comic-Con that's in... It's probably one of the bigger Comic-Cons, obviously, in Washington, but it's always in Seattle. There has been a couple of other ones that have started to pop out, like Washington Summer Con, which is at Puyallup Fair. But for Emerald City Comicon, I think that was something that both of us really enjoyed going to, and we've always enjoyed going to. We started going, what year was that? 2007?
Before we were married.
Yeah, it was the year we got married, though. So I think it was 2007. That March was the first time we went. The one, she actually bought the tickets and surprised me and asked me. She said she was nervous to ask me, but she asked me, would you want to go to Emerald City Comicon? And immediately I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm marrying this woman. So yeah, Comic-Con has always been like a fun thing that we've always tried to go to. And to be honest with you, I don't think we were planning on going at all this year, but we had a sponsor basically.
A Comic-Con blessing.
Yeah, we had a sponsor that basically wanted to go as well, so they paid our way, so that's how we were able to go this year. But what are your first thoughts? How did you feel about, or do you have any more about how much you enjoy Comic-Con too?
I enjoyed going. I was really looking forward to going this year only because I hadn't gone. I think, when was the last time we went? 2019. So we were going to go again in 2020, but then that's when COVID and everything happened. So we actually weren't able to go. And then I don't even know if we were even able to go since. No, not at all. Yeah, so it was nice to go. It was different going with a child though, a toddler. Because you have, like, when you don't have kids, you don't think about, like, we have to stop and eat, and we have to stop and get a diaper change, and we have to stop and nap. All those things you don't think about because you're like, go, go, go. I'll have an energy drink. I'll use the bathroom when I find one. I'll eat when I'm hungry, that sort of thing. And so this time, to just think about all of that, it took us getting to where we needed to go longer, but I think everything that we do now, we have to think like 10 steps ahead before we actually do it. It was really fun with Kolani though. Did she ever nap?
She did.
Oh yeah. She napped in my arms. There was a lot happening though, so it was a little bit hard for her to take a nap, but overall I had fun. I didn't like that it was separated into two separate buildings that were really far from each other.
They weren't that far.
They weren't.
They weren't that far, but they were far.
It wasn't that far, but it was still like, I guess it's because I mean, now we have to push a stroller, and so it's just like another thing that we have to do, but I mean, it would not have been a problem.
I really wish they would have just did it in the new building. Just keep everything in that new building because the new building was amazing. And if you don't know, so Emerald City Comicon, it used to be called Washington State Convention Center. They recently changed it after COVID to just Seattle Convention Center, and then they built a whole separate building that's like, what? It's about 3 or 4 blocks. If you're familiar with Seattle, it's right across the street from where Paramount is, the Paramount Theater is, and then the other part of the convention center is a little bit down the street. Yeah, it's right across the street from Paramount. We walked past Paramount to get there.
Was it the parking lot that was there?
Before? What was there before?
Yeah.
I have no idea what was there before.
I think
I think it was just like
it
a.
was a parking lot.
No, I don't even think it was a parking lot, was it? I think it was just like a. Almost kind of like a park ish. We gotta look.
Lot.
We gotta look. No. I meant
trying
like
to
not even
think
a
of
parking lot.
where-
I think like it was an actual like park itself.
Park. Oh yeah.
Like I think it just had like a statue and something over there. But we may have to look at that because I'm trying to remember what was across
I'm
the street
trying
from
to
Paramount.
remember. Yeah.
I think the last time we went, they might have been building it. I think the last time we went, they may have been building what they were building, but we didn't realize what they were building.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's two separate buildings now instead of one big building. And to me, I felt like the only thing that was in the other building, the old building, was panels. And then that's where all the autograph signing was, which I think the reason they probably did do two separate ones is because before, I'm guessing it has to do with money, honestly. I'm guessing it has to do with money, and because before they used to have all the autographs and everything in the hotel, like buildings, like where the Sheraton is and stuff. They have like a big old. That's where all the autograph signings used to be, and so
I've never known because I never did that.
yeah. So maybe they just, for cost reasons, it was cheaper to just only book the Washington Convention Center with those two ones that are considered Seattle Convention Center versus doing Seattle Convention Center and on top of that hotels. But of course they still probably have like, that's probably the hotels they use for the guests and all that stuff too. So it's interesting.
I'm trying to remember all of the stuff that they had because the last time that I went, it seemed like the Washington State Convention Center was like 6 floors and it covered like anything that you could think of on each floor, like it was there. But I felt like this time I don't know, it felt like there was no reason to have the two buildings because each building felt empty. Like one building had only enough stuff for like maybe even half of what it was before, or maybe even both was like about half. So to me, it would make sense to move it to the new building and then just not use that other building, or if it is smaller, just still use the old building because then you could still utilize all the floors. But it did feel smaller, and I don't know, the autograph section and stuff, I feel like that room was way too big.
We were on there on a Friday though, so you got to think about that too. Saturday, that place is probably way more busier than what we were. And when we were there, some of the bigger stars weren't signing yet. So like Chris Evans wasn't signing yet. So there probably wasn't as many people there. I think when we were there, the only people that were actually physically there was, from what I saw, Rufio. I saw him. He was over there. Rufio was over there. Christopher Lloyd was over there. I didn't see Christina Ricci over there when we were up there. But yeah, so I mean, I would think the reason for it, to me, it has to be cost, is why they did it the way they did. Because I'm also thinking about it. The day we went, Will Call wasn't that busy. Yeah. Will Call is usually crazy on Saturdays. And you saw how big that, because where it was where the Will Call was where they used to have all the shops and everything. But now it was just set up for people to stand in line and get their badges. Before the Will Call was, again, in a separate separate hotel. So to me, it probably was cheaper for them to do two, even though they didn't fill each building. It was probably cheaper for them to just, because it was still the Seattle Convention Center. It wasn't Seattle Convention Center, Sheraton, Hilton, Paramount. They sometimes used to do stuff at Paramount too. They used to have to rent Paramount too. It's just renting technically one spot, even though it's two different places. So that's what I think is why. But again, on Saturday, it's to me, I'm thinking about it like, I want to know what Saturday looked like at that new building, because the new building, it is extremely nice. if you haven't been to this Seattle Convention Center, the new building is like just brilliant. Like I'm not like an architecture person. Like I'm never like, oh, that's a beautiful building type thing. But that I was like, man, this is amazing. Like the way they had it set up, everything like that. But I do feel like if there was more people there, you would feel cramped. Because on a Friday, it was busy, but it wasn't crazy busy. And I feel like if it was crazy busy, I'd feel cramped.
Yeah, the only downside that I saw to the new building was that the elevators took forever. And I don't know, you walk into like this beautiful lobby with like a cafe, and then you walk to the right where you have to go through security. But, but when you go like to the other floors, it's almost like so it's a beautiful building, and you can stand on each floor and you can look down the middle and see each floor. But I feel like for Comic-Con, maybe that's not the right building to use, because then all that open space where you're looking down at the other floors, you're not that space is no longer being used, and then that's how it could feel cramped. I don't even know where the other rooms were at. I only remember seeing like where we ate, that main stage there, where we had our sandwiches, and then they had
Star Wars.
yeah, where we went to see Star Wars. Okay, so I guess it was okay, yeah. I don't know. It still did feel really cramped though. Yeah.
I was going to say, they did have something on every single floor. But I feel like, what was it, maybe 5 or 6 floors? 5 or 6 floors. They had different rooms and everything. But every room... And I mean, it could be just because the way we are now, and now that we're a family, it just didn't seem like it was utilized as well as probably like before. Did they even have did you see a pinball machine room? Because they usually had a pinball machine room where it was
They
just
had
nothing but pinballs. They had that arcade place, but
they had the pinball machine rooms at the last time we went, but I want to say they maybe didn't have that, and they just used that arcade area for that, which I thought was pretty neat. But I don't know. And I didn't even go into the other rooms besides the Star Wars one. And I remember that one being like huge, where you could walk almost around. And this one, it was almost like a small conference room. And so each room for all the different activities and stuff was just a small conference room. And so I don't know. I like the new building. Absolutely beautiful. Was it the best building to use for that and the other one? I don't know.
yeah. I was going to say, I do want to talk about real quick the main highlight of why we went to Comic-Con, which, if most didn't know, Billy D. Williams was there, Lando Calrissian, many other people, Barry Gordy and the Jacksons. But that was one of the main reasons.
These are all characters Billy D played. These are not all separate people.
But that was one of the main reasons our sponsor ended up paying for us to go, was to see Billy D. Williams, because they're a big Billy D. Williams fan and grew up watching him. Me personally, I'm a big Billy D. Williams fan too. And if you haven't watched our top 10 Star Wars characters, I have Lando in my top 10 specifically because of Billy D. Williams. Now, the man just plays like a very cool character. Like, even the way he acts is very, like, if you watch Billy D, it's just like, man, this dude has swagger, is the best way I could explain it. And that is exactly how he is in real life. When he walked in, you just felt like, even the way he was dressed, even though this man is like 80-something years old, barely moving, has a cane, he just looked just and talked like that way how he acted. Like listening to him talk was like, man, this is exact. Like no wonder he played such good roles because this is just him. Literally how Lando is. That is Billy D. Williams. Like if you think of Lando, how he acts, that's how Billy D. Williams acted and talked. Now, I mean, he could be just a really good actor and just act the whole every day of his life, but I don't think so. I think that's literally how he was. He just was very nice. They tried to answer every single question, but Comic Con basically made them leave early. But even the manager was trying to like, well, there's no one in here. He even said, he's like, I don't see anyone from Emerald City here, so we'll just keep going until someone stops us. I don't know, because there was a long line of questions, and he was like, if they don't stop us, we'll just keep going. And then finally someone came in and was like, no, you only can do 2 more. So the manager and Billy D was very willing to just answer every single question or whatever anyone wanted to say. I did not know he did Broadway. Yeah. That's where he started out, was in Broadway as a little kid. He did some Broadway stuff, which was surprising. And there at the show, he actually, at the panel, he actually sang that original song that he had to sing as a kid, went in that Broadway, which was cool. It was cool just to see that. But yeah, Billy D. Williams, if you think he's really cool on screen, he is very cool in person as well. And then while we were there, he actually was there because he had his book came out about his life, and we were able to get that. And it was signed. And when they said that these panels included a signature, like, I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. It's a signature. We're just going to see like a stamped signature. No. This man literally took the time to write these out, and you can tell because we got 3 different books, and all 3 of them look completely not exactly the same. So it's like, this man really actually sat there and signed these. And then the cool thing, too, was they were like, if you were willing to wait in line at the autograph booth, if you bring the book, he'll also sign your name. We didn't end up doing that because, again, with a kid, we weren't going to wait in that line that long. We tried to catch it, like time it where there wasn't that long of a line, but it was just always long whenever Billy D was out there. But yeah, that was the highlight, I think, with Billy D. Unfortunately, the wand didn't get to sit through it because Kalani wasn't. She was exhausted when the timing was terrible. We didn't think about that completely, that it's right at her nap time. But
it was during her nap time, but also like in the room before it even started, there were playing like commercials of movies, and they had like a really weird, it was just weird commercials, weird trailers of movies. And there was one that was it was a scary one, and it just kept playing over and over again. And I don't know, it was weird. And I think that was also part of the reason, because the music was loud from the trailer, and then I don't know, you could just kind of feel like it felt kind of spooky. And she was like, no, I'm done. But she was tired too. And so I was the one who volunteered to go out, because I'm not like a huge Billy D. Williams fan, only because I've only known him in as Lando. And I didn't even like put 2 and 2 together that it's Barry Gordy. Like I didn't in the Jacksons, yeah. Like I'm trying to remember him, and I don't remember. But so it wasn't a huge deal for me to miss it. But sitting on the outside, I heard him singing, and everyone that was there to hear the panel, oh my gosh, after he finished, I could just hear an erupt of like applause and woo. And so it was pretty cool just to be on the outside and hear that. And it has such a really good voice. I could hear it muffled. It was muffled, so I couldn't hear like it clear. But yeah, it was super nice. And then I didn't know that you get a book. And so I was seeing everyone walk out with a book, and I was like, do they know that they get a book too?
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I guess it was lost in translation. I thought I told you and our sponsor, but neither of you guys knew.
but I thought it was pretty neat. If that was the only thing that we got to see, I mean, I obviously wanted to see Chris Evans too, but to the panel for that was Saturday, which we couldn't make it Saturday, and autographs and pictures and stuff were extremely expensive, and so it wasn't worth it. And I thought that I could be like, let me walk by and see if I could see Chris Evans and snap a picture. But no, they had this man on lock and key behind behind curtains and all, like you didn't see him at all. And so there was no chance of that. But I don't even think there was anybody that I wanted to see.
Black Ranger.
Huh? Oh. Yeah. The Black Power Ranger. Yeah. It was funny, we're just walking through the shops and stuff and whatever. This man is not like at a table, he's not signing autographs, he's not like a specialty person or whatever. And this was like a booth within the shopping booths, and it had other Power Rangers, people who played Power Rangers characters in the past. But I think it was all black characters. And so I was just walking by or whatever, and all of a sudden I see him, and I'm like, hi! And then I just walked by. And it was so weird to see him just chilling there, and he was just like, hi!
It was funny too, because I didn't even recognize him until you waved hi. I was like, who's she waving hi to? And then I looked, I was like, oh yeah, that was him. I was like, man, I grew up watching you. I didn't even realize that was him. And then we ended up seeing him in Brink and stuff, so that's funny. Oh, yeah. Which is the second part of the things. But before we move on to the Disney Channel original movies, two things I wanted to bring up. If anyone's listening that's doing security at airports, Disney, whatever, someone needs to show up there at Emerald City, or I don't know if it's Seattle Convention Center that is a part of this security team or did this stuff, but it was amazing. And you literally don't have to stop, and even if you had a bag, you didn't have to stop at every single table, have them look through your thing. It was literally like this metal detector that you walk through, and I guess it scans your whole thing and it shows them if there's something that needs to be checked. And then if you got dinged, then you'd go to the table and they'd look at it. But every single time we went out and came back in, it was like that. Like very quick, easy, just walk right through. And if you got pinged, then you would go, they'll check your bag real quick and see just to make sure what it was. And if it was fine, you're good. So they need that everywhere.
They, if you had a stroller, you didn't even have to walk through any type of thing. There was a dog that would just follow you as you walked. And that made it easy. I think the first time I went, I had a stroller, so I didn't have to stop. But then when I didn't have the stroller and I had my backpack, I got stopped every time because I had a metal water bottle. And then it was my glasses case had metal in it, and that was something that I kept getting stopped. Or I had a battery phone charger for my phone. And so those three things every time. And I always forgot every time if I didn't have the stroller, I had to be checked, and those were the things. And but it definitely wasn't as bad. I don't mind having my bag being checked at all. I mean, I would love the extra security, but that was so easy. Just walk right through all that.
Did you see the tablets that was showing?
No.
Oh, yeah. I was telling Mom, I was like, look at the tablet. Because there was, when you walked through the thing, it scanned it. Uh-huh. And then there was a tablet where the security guard was standing, and it literally showed like your bag and what was in it. Oh. And like if there was something of, it was weird because I told Mom, I was like, look at the tablet when you walk by, because you can literally see it. It's like a bunch of different colors, and it basically just shows like, oh, there's something they need to check there or not. And I was like, why is this not everywhere? I was like, this is the easiest thing ever. It's very secure. Yeah. I felt safe. I didn't feel like it wasn't like, because sometimes they have those security guards that, not knocking Disneyland, But I feel like at Disneyland, it's either one of two people. They're either way too serious about their job or not serious enough. And I'm like, no, man, you got to check this because if you're doing this to me, that means you might be doing it to someone that is carrying something in. So it's always like a big gap at Disneyland. And then you get those serious people that are just like, bro, it's not that serious. Just take it. Whatever. Just look at it. Like, why are you taking your job so serious? So it's like and then you get a couple of them that are those happy mediums though at Disneyland. But Disneyland, it takes so long. As if it's busy. If it's busy enough, you can catch it sometimes where it's not that busy. But even sometimes when it's not the busy time, it'll take super long just to get through into downtown Disney.
Yeah, that and at the airport. I do not appreciate getting yelled at 5 in the morning before I've had coffee. Like, I know. Take your shoes off, take your electronics out, put it... But them, I understand why they have to be so serious because they're protecting. But I mean, everywhere, even at Disneyland, you just have to be extra cautious. But yeah, super simple at Comic-Con.
Yeah. And like I said, I felt safe. Like sometimes, like I said, it just feels like someone needs to check this dude because I don't know what he's letting in. I'm cool with you being a little bit more strict and double checking my stuff. I always think it's funny when sometimes I had like people, like security guards, apologize to me for the inconvenience. I was like, hey, you're doing your job, bro. You just keep doing it, man. I'd rather you be inconveniencing me and stopping someone than being like, oh, no, I'll let this person by. So it's okay. Second thing that I wanted to bring up, give a shout out to New York City Deli. Whoo! If you are ever at that convention center, if you're ever in that area of Seattle and you need lunch, food, go to New York City Deli. It's on 7th Ave. I looked it up before this. I might even be getting the name wrong. Let me double check that. But New York City Deli is like I randomly ran into it. New York NYC Deli Market. That's better. NYC Deli Market. I randomly ran into this place after I went to PAX by myself because you're having and pregnant at the time, and I went by myself. I almost said having Kalani. That would have been bad. I'm all at PAX while you're having Kalani, but no, she was pregnant, so I went to PAX by myself, and I tried to go to Johnny Rockets at first for dinner, like for food. Before I went to something else. I was going to a show. And it was crazy busy. And it was during the restaurant wasn't busy, but it was during the time where they had all these COVID protocols. And so, like, they had to have, like, 3 tables away from each person. So we're all standing outside of the thing, looking at all these empty tables, but couldn't sit. So eventually I just gave up and walked down the street. I'm like, man, I'm hungry. Is there anywhere else to eat? And actually, my original intention was to go get a Seattle dog. Because I was like, there won't be a long line. Let me just get a Seattle dog. And there's always one somewhere, so I'll just walk there. And I walked past this place, saw New York City Deli Market, and they had sandwiches. And if you know me, I love a good sandwich. So I walked in there, and I was like, oh, these sandwiches look good. And I'm telling you right now, I think about these sandwiches sometimes. Almost want to go to Seattle for these sandwiches sometimes, but I know I don't feel like dealing with the parking and all that, so I'll probably only go there at conventions and things like that. But if you're ever at a convention, don't go to Cheesecake Factory and do that. Seattle dogs are fine because, you can get some quick. The Euro Spot is actually really good, too, if you go to the Euro Spot, if you're ever there. But, yeah, that place. And it's just basically a bodega is what they call it in New York. But yeah, they have good everything.
It has everything that you need. That was my first time trying it. I think the last time that you went, you told me about it, and you're like, the sandwich was amazing. If we go again, we need to try it. And so when we found out we were going to Comic-Con, you're like, we're having sandwiches for lunch. Like, okay, you already know what we're eating, totally fine. And I didn't I thought it was something different. I didn't know it was in such a nice building. But anyways, um it's run by, I want to say, like an Asian family. And any place in Seattle that is run by an Asian family, the food is always like top tier. And so, and maybe it's me just saying that because I am Asian and I know like the quality of food is so good, but like you don't expect them to be making such fire sandwiches. And I don't even remember what I got.
You got it was like California something.
A California chicken sandwich or something, and it had, I think, a little bit of bacon on it, and it had a little bit of avocado. Um, it was like the most delicious sandwich I had in a really long time. Um, and it was a little shop too, so we were able to get yogurt for Kalani and sandwiches for all of us and chips and all that. But the sandwich was so good. And they asked me, he's like, do you want it warmed? I was like, yeah, I want it warmed. Of course I want it warmed. But, ooh, a sandwich sounds good. Oh.
Yeah, I knew eventually. What's funny is I was like, I didn't want to force you guys to have that food. If you guys didn't want to go, I was just like, well, what do y'all want to eat? And I was like, no, let's eat these sandwiches because I'm telling you, these sandwiches are phenomenal. So yes, if you're in that area, I think if I'm ever in Seattle or in that specific area, like if we ever go to Paramount for a show like a Broadway or something, we're probably going there. Just preparing you now. That's where we're probably going to eat. It's fast, good. Don't have to worry about seating really. I mean, they do have some seats, but yeah, you just kind of get your food and just go and find somewhere to eat. But yeah, phenomenal. So let's transition. Let's talk. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll say it. Unfortunately, that may have been our last time at Emerald City Comicon. As much as we loved Comic-Con and we've loved going, it was different going as a family than as a couple or as single. There's some stuff that we'd rather not our baby girls see. Yeah. And then on top of that, being that was our first time as a family, it kind of felt like family, even though it's supposed to be a little bit family friendly, and I get it. It just seems like families took a back seat at this Comic-Con, and it was kind of like just pushed in like a small little area, and that's where the family center is, and this is where the family thing is. So we probably won't be going to Emerald City. We may try Washington SummerCon just to see how it is, but I think we're done with Emerald City. Also, Seattle is the drive out there. There's just a lot of things that is different once you're actually a family and with a kid. I mean, maybe when they're older, but at the same time, probably not.
I can't even imagine like how much more
families are going to push to the side.
Yeah. Without like saying anything more negative about it, but yeah, I don't know, I was really excited because Comic-Con is always a fun thing that we could do together, and then this time that we went, it just felt like, as an example, they had an area called Family HQ, and I thought like it was gonna be, someone was gonna be in there, we're gonna have activities to do with our with your family, like all the other rooms, but it was like a medium-sized room, but it was shared with where another panel would have been. So there wasn't even a wall in between. It was almost like they just put Family HQ in this room along with another thing. But it was just a room with tables and chairs, some bean bags, and then stuff that the kids could color, and that's it. There was nobody in there to kind of guide, like, hey, there's this activity you could do together as a family. And I don't know, it just felt not like family was important. Um, which I don't know, I got that from that. But there was just tons of like scary stuff that I would rather that Kolani not see, and then just how different people were dressed. Um, but I mean, that's the day that we live in now. That's just more common, which is, yeah, it just sucks. I really liked Emerald City Comicon, but it's okay. I'm okay with not ever going again if there's going to be something here in the South Side, which there is, and I'm assuming that that one's going to be like so much better.
So from what I've seen, people like the Summer Con more than Emerald City Comic Con. That's what most people have said, because a lot of people have said that it's more cost effective, and obviously most of these people are probably people that are already up down this way and don't want to go all the way to Seattle. I feel like Seattle, the Emerald City, you'll get more people outside of the state that are willing to come out, and then Washington, that Puyallup one's probably a little bit more local, obviously, since it's right here and it's not all the way up there. And they're still building, but from what I've understood, from every comment that I've seen, every time they post something, is like, you guys are killing it. Like, this is way better than Emerald. Like, and people purposely put, like, this is better than Emerald City Comic Con. And even like friends I've talked to, they're like, oh yeah, we went a few times and it's way better than Emerald City Comic Con. So I was like, oh, okay. I trust you guys' judgment. So we'll definitely try it out just to see.
All right, let's transition into Disney Channel originals.
So we started getting into Disney Channel originals, and I want to say why. If you don't know who Cleo Thomas is, Cleo, did I say that right? Cleo Thomas? This man is Zero from Holes. He is in a Disney Channel original movie, and he's considered a Disney legend. A lot of people know who he is as far as Disney goes.
Huge Disney fan.
He's a huge Disney fan, and this man decided to post some Disney Channel original movies he's never seen. And it was mind-blowing to me. This man posted that he's never seen Brink, he's never seen all these other ones. And I was like, wait. How have you never seen any of these? And he said he had a good reason. So in my mind, I was thinking maybe he was just busy with his acting career as that in that age. But all he said was he was just doing kid stuff. I was like, no, that's not a good excuse, bro. I was a kid too. I figured out a way to watch those too. Like, I was telling the one that I remember when those movies would come out, because you would they'd show it on, I think, a Friday evening, and you either plan to watch it then. They'll have a rerun on Saturday or rerun later on the week. And I remember always coming in the next week at school, and if you didn't watch it and you're just talking to kids like, oh man, did you watch Alley Cat Strike and all these different movies? And so we decided to start watching them. And one reason we did start watching them, my wife actually does have a good excuse on why she hasn't watched primarily a lot of them. She didn't have cable in that period of time, which that is a good excuse. That is a good reason not to watch them. But now they're all on Disney Plus, so we started watching a few of them. But you have seen at least a few Disney Channel original movies, and then we've watched a couple. Yeah. What is your favorite? Do you know off the top of your head?
No.
You don't know off the top of your head? Any of them?
A Disney Channel original movie? I can't. No. I like Brink. But I think the era in which it was made is a cringy era, so I think any Disney Channel original, it's gonna be cringy. Yeah, corny and cringy. I really liked Alley Cat Strikes. Is it Strikes or Strike?
Strike.
It was actually better than I thought it was gonna be. And then I think we just randomly started watching, what was that movie? The one with the kid from...
Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
Miracle Line. Lane number 2.
Yeah, but we should have watched it before we started playing it because it went south. Like in the first 10 minutes, we're like, maybe if we're gonna have Kolani watch this, we should watch it first. But I've never seen Xenon. I've never seen Xenon. I've never seen Johnny Tsunami. I've only heard of Johnny Tsunami. And then I love all the High School Musicals. Like, those are all my favorite. But are those considered Disney originals? Yeah. They are?
They're Disney Channel originals.
Okay. And then I'm trying to think of, like, if there's any other ones.
Descendants.
Oh, is that a Disney Channel original?
Yeah, that's the newer ones.
Oh, yes, I've seen those, and I really like those, although those are also still a little bit cringy. But, yeah, I think those are the only ones that I've actually seen. A lot of them... Wait, is there another one that I saw? No. I want to watch the twins. the twins basketball one.
Because coldest crossover ever in history.
Because I've seen so much... people make fun of that movie a lot, and I really want to see it. I feel like I'm going to be dying.
Pretty sure that's the movie, too, that I saw that someone's, like, zeroed in on the crowd, and it's like there's cardboard boxes and stuff and not really real people back there that are actually cheering them on. But, oh, man, that rocket side to side, like she's got to just beat the best out of her. But yeah, that movie was hilarious just because of how there's so many, just thinking about it, like it's really bad. But if you know me, I love corny. I love that type of stuff. So for me, even as a kid, I loved it. Johnny Tsunami has got to be my favorite for obvious reasons. One, Johnny Tsunami, obviously, if you don't know what it's about this Hawaiian kid that ends up getting taken out of Hawaii and brought to Colorado. He was a surfer and all that, and so he ended up learning snowboarding. Johnny Tsunami, very oddly enough, is the reason I actually ended up getting into snowboarding in the first place. I've always wanted to do snowboarding because of Johnny Tsunami. And then in high school, I found out, like, wait, we can snowboard here? Like, I never even realized in my head that was a possibility until I was in high school. And I joined the snowboarding club, and we went out and snowboarded. Instantly fell in love with it, and ended up getting snowboards and doing all that stuff. But yeah, Johnny Tsunami is a big reason why I even wanted to take up snowboarding. To this day, shout out to my man Curtis, who just got married. To this day, we always will greet each other with like, "Hey, Pono," because that's what they used to always say in Johnny Tsunami. Like, even I've commented to him, "Hey, Pono," and that's been a constant thing that me and him always do. Double teamed, yes, that's the one with the twins. So yeah, that Johnny Tsunami is definitely probably my favorite, and then Brink would be next. No, Alley Cat Strike actually would be next, and then Brink. Xenon. What's funny to me is Xenon was one that I never watched until all my friends were telling me how good it was. And I was like, come on, that's a chick flick. And I watched it, but it's good. Bad, but good. But yeah, I think I've watched that time period of probably what was it? Maybe 1999 to 2001, 2002. I probably saw every single Disney Channel original movie unless it had to do with Halloween. Because if you know me, I'm not even a huge fan of Halloween, and even though religiously, but it has nothing to do with that. I just never been a fan of Halloween. It's just not something that I even remotely want to be a part of to me. And so I never watched any of those movies, but Smart House, I remember that one. Xenon, both Xenon movies, I remember that. What other ones are there? I do remember we were looking through them, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this one.
Looking at them now. There's Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, and then Xenon the Sequel. Did you watch both of those? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brink, Luck of the Irish, I never have seen. Irish, yeah. I've seen parts of Wizards of Waverly Place, but not like all the way. Cadet Kelly.
Oh
I watched Cadet Kelly. Yeah. What were you
Even
gonna say?
Stevens movie.
Yeah, the Even Stevens
one?
movie. Let me see here.
Proud Family movie. I've watched that one.
Yeah. There was another one here that I saw. Oh, the Cheetah Girls. I watched that. I liked that one a lot. Getting tired of your breaking promises. Sorry.
Is that from that?
No.
No? Is she in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, is she in it? Why did you just start singing that song?
I think I want to say she did her own music video, like on the side, outside of the Cheetah Girls. But yeah, she's in it. Oh, these other ones I've never heard of.
Really?
Stuck in the Suburbs, Gotta Kick It Up.
Gotta Kick It Up, I've heard of but never watched.
Motocrossed. I think we saw the trailer for that.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
with the girl, right?
Yeah, The Color of Friendship. Did you ever watch that one? It's with Tia and Tamara's brother, I think.
I vaguely remember that one, but I didn't watch it. I was a big fan of Taj Mahal too, because I loved Smart Guy. Yeah. So I probably have watched it, but I don't remember it.
Quince. Looks like a school movie.
That's the quintuplet one, or something different?
I don't know. It just says Quince.
Yeah, that's the one where she's
got
all the kids, her siblings that she ends up watching.
That's right. True Confessions.
True Confessions. See, that's 2002. That's probably around the time, like right after 2002 was probably when I started to stop watching Disney Channel original movies.
I've never seen Camp Rock or Up, Up, and Away.
Let me see that.
The Up, and Away
is that the superhero one?
Yeah, I've never
seen. I vaguely remember that one too. I don't think I did watch that one. I don't remember what happens in it though.
Yeah, Under Wraps looks like it's a Halloween one, and then Can of Worms I've never seen.
Can of Worms. That one's weird.
Yeah, it looks weird.
I never watched it, but I remember seeing the commercials for it and stuff. And I was like, this one looks weird. Yeah. Can of Worms.
Also, Halloween Town, not Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. I've never seen that one.
Nope, 2003. So I probably never watched
that. Don't Look Under the Bed. Stepsister from Planet Weird. That's totally... Rip Girls. Rip Girls was another
Girls. I did see that.
Hawaiian one. I've never seen.
I've seen that
one.
I've
never seen that one.
I don't remember what happened in it, but I do recall watching it. There's a volleyball one. I forget the name of that one, too.
Yeah, that was just a few ranked ones.
And then, in another note, Kalani absolutely loves Alley Cat Strike. She'll ask, bowling movie. And I'm like, you really like this movie that much? I was like, I enjoyed it. And I remember watching it a lot when it first came out, but I didn't expect her to gravitate towards it. So yeah, thank you, Cleo Thomas, for giving us back into this Disney Channel original movie. I will be honest, I've never watched his. Didn't even know he was in one until he mentioned it. I was like, whoa, he was in one? Again, that probably was that period of time where I just stopped watching them.
Is Holes
no
an original movie?
It's not a Disney Channel original movie, no.
Oh, okay. Holes, though.
It's fire.
Best movie, greatest one-liners that you can use all the time.
I feel like one that we always use, probably almost every day, is you hear the empty spaces.
Fill up Caveman, that's his name. Fill up Caveman's water bottle. I already did. Do you hear the empty spaces? And then I'm tired of this, Grandpa. That's too bad.
Oh man. Yeah, Holes, that's a good one. But I feel like that one is the one thing we probably say daily, because she'll ask me, or I'll ask her, do you need me to fill up water? And she'll be like, oh no, I just filled it up, and I'll grab it and shake it. The empty spaces. Holes, that is a good one. Even the soundtrack, them singing and everything was good.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
He was in some good movies.
And shows. Even Stevens was really good. All right. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Before you end off in prayer. Special announcement. If you've gotten this far, we are going to have a special Easter episode or Easter Resurrection Sunday, Passover. This Sunday at our church, at First Church of Lacey, we're going to be speaking, and we will post that episode. This will be our monthly episode of the Bible. We're going to jump stories, obviously. We're going to talk about Jesus and talk about the crucifixion, things like that. So, yeah, if you want to, we'll post that a little bit later on Sunday. So if you want to watch it later, but also if you want to be in-house, First Church of Lacey at 10 a.m. I was trying to think of the time. 10 a.m. We'll be there and ready to go. So,
All right, let's end this.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Lord, for another opportunity that you have blessed us with. I pray that you continue to touch and bless this podcast that we have. I pray that it is able to reach those who are supposed to hear. I also pray, Lord, that you touch and bless us right now. I ask that you continue to guide us and show us what we need to do. I pray, Lord, that with this podcast, even though it wasn't about you today, it was just fun chit-chatting. I just ask that whoever comes across this and hears this or watches this video, that they are able to just take away from whatever struggles they're going through at the moment, and that they will be able to feel your presence and that they can have peace in this moment. Thank you again for such a great opportunity that we have to do this. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. We will catch you on Sunday. Have a good one.